Hey, what's going on, guys? So, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 just got a fresh update. The big theme here is stability and performance. One of the first things in the notes is improved handling of texture MIP streaming quality when the game is under heavy memory pressure. In plain English, that means the sim should do a better job keeping textures from falling apart when your system starts getting pushed. They also improve terrain degradation when memory gets low, which should help the world hold together better instead of turning into that ugly, messy state people hate seeing when the system is struggling. On top of that, they fixed various crashes and improved memory usage, and that is the kind of line everybody wants to see in an update like this because memory issues have been one of the biggest pain points for a lot of players. There is also a pretty important fix for glass cockpits. The update addresses an electrical system issue that could make avionics and other systems think a circuit had been switched off from time to time. That sounds like a weird little bug, but in practice, it could cause reboots and loss of function in the cockpit, which is the last thing you want when you are trying to manage a flight properly. So, for anyone flying aircraft that rely on those systems heavily, this is a very welcome fix. Career mode also gets some attention here. Mission availability times now take runway lighting into account at both the departure and arrival airports, which means missions can now begin or end at night when there is proper lighting available. That is actually a nice quality of life change because it makes the career side feel a bit more logical and less restricted for no real reason. If you have ever loaded up a mission and wondered why the timing felt off, this should help smooth that out. There are a few specific gameplay fixes too. Firefighting missions had a burn ground effect issue, and that has been fixed. It is one of those details that might sound minor until you run into it and realize it is messing with the whole experience. On PlayStation 5, heavy cargo missions had a launch problem, and that has been corrected as well. So if you are on console, this update has some direct fixes that should make certain mission types much less frustrating. Traffic got some love too. The update fixes a third-party traffic add-on problem where pushback was not working correctly. That is the kind of thing that can break immersion fast if you are using add-ons to make airport traffic feel more alive. So it is good to see that addressed. There is also a PS5 SDK fix for HTTPS request failures from Coherent caused by an SSL handshake error. That is a pretty technical one, but basically it is another sign that they are working through platform-specific issues to keep things from failing in weird ways. Audio. Audio got a fix as well. Legacy sounds that are based on WAV files were being affected by attenuation factors calculated with a 1-frame delay, and that has now been corrected. It is subtle, but audio timing matters more than people think in a sim because even small mismatches can make the whole experience feel just a little off. When sound behaves properly, everything feels more grounded. And then there is a whole cluster of fixes for WASM and JS APIs, especially on PS5. The update fixes the base address for virtual allocations of WASM modules linear memory on PS5, which helps avoid a crash with the Aerostar 600. It also fixes WASM failures on PS5 when modules were built with SDK 1.6.9 and higher, which helps avoid crashes with the 2024 version of the ATR. That is a big deal for aircraft and add-on creators because WASM support is a major part of how a lot of complex aircraft systems run. They also added support for dynamic VFS on-demand files, so the sim does not chew through too much memory when accessing streamed files through WASI. That is a very technical line, but the takeaway is simple. Better memory behavior, fewer unnecessary spikes, and a better chance of avoiding problems while the sim is loading or streaming content in the background. The JS API also got a fix for swapped parameters in the new map listener weather radar methods added in SU5, so developers working with those tools should have a cleaner experience now too. One thing the notes specifically warn about is outdated packages in the community folder on PC. They say those can have an unexpected impact on performance and behavior, especially if you are dealing with long loading times or stability issues. So if someone updates and still has problems, that is one of the first places they should look. So overall, this update feels like a real maintenance pass. Not the kind of thing people post clips about because it added something wild, but definitely the kind of patch that can make the sim feel better the moment you start flying. Fewer crashes, better memory handling, smoother cockpit systems, cleaner mission logic, and a bunch of platform-specific fixes that should help both PC and PS5 players. For a sim this complex, that kind of cleanup is a big deal because the less time you spend fighting bugs, the more time you actually spend flying,